Hello, fellow hair artists and beauty experts. It's time to talk hair, beauty, and the business behind it all. Welcome to Beyond the Shears in the 406. This is a space for artists to connect, grow, and learn from each other. I'm your host, Kitty Youngquist, and today I'm excited to welcome our in-house skincare queen, Meg, the esthetician at the Fabric Salon. We're diving into all things that glow, self-care, and why proper aftercare really matters. So, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm sorry about my intro and it being all red because I
okay.
just can't remember all of that stuff, and I'm just new to this podcasting thing. So you look wonderful.
Thank you.
I love you in red with your dark hair.
Thank you. It's a power color.
Yes, it is. So why don't you tell me about how you got into aesthetics and why? What is your why for?
Oh, as far as like a why, I mean, I always growing up, I was always, girly girl. I actually, when I was really little, I wanted to, elementary, maybe middle school aged, I wanted to do special effects makeup for movies because I loved horror movies. And I believe it was my 14th birthday. We had just gotten our first day spa in Missoula, and so I asked for a facial for my birthday. Fell in love with it. I remember talking to the esthetician during that appointment, and she had told me, she had to go to school in Seattle, and my heart just sank because I was a small town girl. My mom still lives in the house that they brought me home from the hospital in. Right? So
yes.
The idea of having to move away just seemed too big
For your
to a little Missoula,
yeah.
Montana girl at that time. And when I graduated high school, there were no aesthetic programs around here. I had a dopey boyfriend I didn't want to leave behind. So I didn't do it right away out of high school. I went into, I became an optician. So I made glasses.
Right.
And it was a promotion with a job I had in that field that took me over to Spokane, Washington. And then it dawned on me there's 3 aesthetic schools just here in this city. So I quit optical and went into aesthetics. And then after I graduated, came back home.
What was it about the aesthetics? What was it about that first facial that just made you fall in love with the idea?
I think it seemed very luxurious. A lot of spa services in the aesthetics field, I felt at that time weren't quite the same amount as kind of results driven as the industry has become.
Right.
It was a little bit more fluff and puff, but it did feel very luxurious. And I think it felt bigger than small town Missoula. And so that's why I was so drawn to that. And of course, being a girly girl and having a vanity full of lotions and potions was always kind of my gig. Which was funny because then once I started practicing, I really got pulled really heavy more into the hair removal side.
Right.
Which does not feel so luxurious when you're getting it done.
Right. But it is afterwards.
Yes, afterwards it is.
Well, that's funny. It's that the luxury is what pulled you in, but the pulling the hair out is what made you stay.
Right.
Is it just that you like to inflict pain, or is it?
Yeah. No. Well, when I was in beauty school, we weren't able to do Brazilians in school. But our teacher did, she had told the head of our school that, this is really, we're doing the students a disservice by not teaching them this. It's a really popular upcoming service. So he agreed to let her do a demo.
Okay.
And then just after school, there was a handful of times a couple of us got together, you bring the wax and I'll bring the wine. And we did some questionable Brazilians on each other.
Oh my gosh.
And then when I moved back into Missoula after graduation, I was one of only 3 girls that even offered Brazilian waxing, let alone Brazilian waxing on all genders.
Right.
So it just turned into what I was booked with all day, every day. And I love it.
You're so good at it.
Thank you.
I know you just put this out in the newsletter, but I mean, not everybody gets our newsletter, and there's going to be a lot of people that are listening to this podcast or watching it that want to know the difference between hard wax, soft wax, and sugaring.
Yeah.
And I thought you did a really good job explaining it in the newsletter, and I thought it'd be a good thing to put out here too.
Yeah, particularly like when I did my training for the sugaring, of course, the company I was training with, they were like, oh, you'll throw your wax pot away. You'll only ever sugar. And one thing I've definitely found in this industry is there's no like one size fits all solution for everybody. So I did not throw my wax pot away. I like to have a lot of different choices on hand. So with soft wax, kind of like the quickest way to summarize the technology behind it is that it's sticky. So it sticks to the hair, then it sticks to the wax strip. For those who don't know, soft wax is the wax that you put on and then you apply like a muslin strip over. But it also sticks to your skin. So it can be the harshest on the skin in that regard. You can't keep going over the same area over and over again, which makes it maybe not great for underarms or bikini where the hair does have a lot of different hair growth patterns and directions. But it is the best for getting like those really, really fine little hairs.
Okay.
Like peach fuzzy hair, it is great for certain different ethnicities where like even their eyebrow hair is just really, really fine. An area where I might normally use hard wax, the soft wax is a better choice for those clients.
So I have a personal question to ask.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this before, and it's kind of, it's embarrassing for me, but I have this terrible peach fuzz on my face. And since I have gotten older and my hormones have gotten out of whack, I've been trying to figure out how to get, it's like this little, it's soft and it's nice, but it's just like, it's like white baby fuzz that just grows on my cheeks and I hate it.
Right.
So we've tried several things. Soft wax might be good for me because when I did the, what's it called? The,
dermaplaning?
Yes, the dermaplaning. I bought a good one that was supposed to be super gentle, but my skin is so sensitive when I dermaplane. It literally takes like 2 weeks. I almost get like razor burn on my face.
Right.
So would the soft wax be a good alternative for me?
The soft wax could be a good alternative for you. I would go back and forth between the soft wax or the sugar in that situation. And not just, I know that you're a drier skin type, and so the sugaring might be better for you than the soft wax, but those would be my two go for.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Client.
I just was,
so
I was wondering for myself, you know.
So that's basically the soft wax. It's also really quick if you're doing like a really large area. So like a full leg wax, the quickest way to knock that out is going to be the soft wax.
Gotcha.
Hard wax, so the way that works is as it dries, it kind of shrink wraps around the hair.
Okay.
And then it's not sticky to the touch. You just pull the wax itself off. So it makes it a lot more gentle on the skin. You can go over the same area multiple times if you need to. So like we were saying with like Brazilian or underarm, if you have an area where the hair is literally growing in multiple directions, you can like pull it once this way and pull it once that way. But, it doesn't always get those little tiny vellus hairs really great. A lot of times it's what I would use on like a face wax as well because it's a little bit more gentle on the skin, and people who have issues with skin lifting, maybe because of products that they use or something like that, hard wax is a good choice.
Skin lifting does not sound good.
Yeah, it's basically where, no matter what form of hair removal you use, it's going to take that very, very top layer of dead skin off.
Right.
Which is nice because you also get, it's almost like getting like a little mini facial when you get waxed, taking that dead layer off. But when you get to the point where you're taking some live skin cells off, that's where you get skin lifting.
Gotcha.
So it kind of looks like a little like almost like a burn. I think that's a misconception. A lot of people will think that they've been burned, and it's not actually that.
Gotcha.
Not to say you can't get burned if the wax is too warm, but but yeah, so there's like less tendency for that to happen with the hard wax. And then with the sugar paste, so sugaring is completely different in terms of like, it's just 3 ingredients in the product, lemon, water, and sugar.
Do you make your own?
If I made my own, I don't know if like, even if you've tried to make like Christmas candies or whatnot, because a really important thing with the sugar is getting the consistency correct. Right. That's like all day long. That's why I'm playing with like the temperature in my room.
Yes.
So getting that consistency correct, and just cooking with sugar or melting sugar, it can just be like really tricky. And then also I do so much of it that my second job would just be making sugar.
Oh yes, that's
so
true. You're like, no.
I entrust to the folks at Sugar the Nile is the brand of sugar that I've been using.
Nice.
They do a great job. Very quality.
And then you're not in your kitchen all the time when you're not at work.
Exactly. So with the sugar, one of the biggest advantages of it is it's a very, very, very low melting point. It pretty much needs to be like body temperature, just slightly above body temperature. So there is almost no risk for heat trauma. And I would know actually because rather than using a stick, I stick my gloved hand directly in it and I spread it with my hand. So I would feel with my hand that it's way too warm. So there's pretty much no risk of doing any heat trauma to the skin, which can increase like the chances of your skin lifting, irritation as far as like getting the red kind of histamine bumps afterwards that can promote ingrown hairs or hair breaking. And because it is water soluble, one, it makes it super easy to clean up. I always provide just a wet, warm towel after any hair removal service. So if there's any residue, baby powder gets everywhere. But with the sugar wax, even if you get a big glob of it somewhere you don't want it, just wipes up with water. Nice. And also makes it so you don't get the risk of the skin lifting because live skin tissue or live skin cells have a lot of water. We've all heard the human body is 80% water or whatever they say. Mm-hmm. So the sugar just won't adhere to live cells.
Oh, that's good.
So you don't have to worry about that risk. You can go over the area multiple times. So great for those difficult hair growth pattern areas. And
I have found because you sugar me, and I have found that I feel like the longer that I get sugared, I mean, you have to go through, there's several, what is there, 4 growth cycles or something?
Yeah. And it all depends on the
but
body
like
every
like 3 weeks or something, you're sprouting new hair basically, right?
Yeah.
So once I feel like I go through all my growth cycles, I feel like my hair starts coming back like thinner, finer.
Yeah.
It's like when I've done my Brazilians and they've been hard wax, I feel like sometimes it's like harsh growing back, almost like you've razored almost.
Right. So that's another advantage of sugaring is you're pulling in the direction of hair growth rather than against. Mm-hmm. And so there's less risk for getting that hair breaking, which can happen with wax, even using perfect technique. It's just sometimes it's just the way your hair is laying, how it got mushed up into the wax when you're spreading it, and then you pull and it'll break the hair rather than pull it out from the root. Not so much that I would say like don't even bother waxing.
Right.
But
well, also every person is going to be different, right?
Right, exactly.
Like everybody, like that's how it is.
I have my preferences for which wax
you want
I prefer for each body part, but there's always a person that comes in that's like an exception to that like
rule.
For you, actually, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I think it'd be better if we made this choice today.
Yes. I always say that with my extensions too, because they're customizable. It's like, I don't think I do the same set of extensions on 2 heads because everybody's hair is a different density. I use different beads for different density. I use different like distance between the beads, and so it's another customizable thing we can do here at Fabric, and I like that. So let's see, what do you love most about working in this crazy creative work environment here?
Specifically about Fabric versus other salons and spas that I've worked in is I just love how like really diverse we are. I have always been somebody, especially when I was younger, that kind of fit outside of the conventional fashion box. And
we love you for that.
Thank you. And I feel like Fabric was really like the first place that I worked where, I mean, other places, it's not like I was like outcast or punished or anything for being a little bit different, but I feel like I was just kind of stuck out like a sore thumb in not a good way.
Right.
And coming here, I feel like, truly just all over the board as far as service providers in fashion, beliefs, as far as the amount of effort. I feel like I'm choosing all the wrong adjectives, but like, just different lifestyles and different fashions and
we all come together
routines
and it works.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I love about our environment, or what I'm trying to kind of honor in our environment and the culture that Lisa started and I kind of want to keep going and even make even better, is I feel like we all love what we do as far as the industry goes, and we respect and honor each other's differences.
I
and
agree.
we ignore the things that maybe tear us apart and embrace the things that keep us together.
Yeah. And I feel like that's great for like our client base, because definitely I felt when I say like kind of sticking out like a sore thumb, it's almost like you'd walk in and it was like kind of Stepford Wives in the salon. Everybody
looks
generally kind of does their hair exactly the same and dresses in the same.
Mm-hmm.
They picked the same Pinterest fashion board,
right?
And as a client, if you walk in and you see that, then you're going to think, well, I don't fit that,
right?
So this isn't the place for me. And I feel like you can walk into Fabric and there is a service provider for everybody here.
I agree with that too. I really like how Polly's worked really hard on the website to show everybody's personality there too.
Yeah.
So it's really nice if you are like, you don't want to walk in and figure out who your stylist is. You can always go to the website and read up on Meg, me, any one of our amazing stylists and what they're about, and you can kind of pick where you want to go. Fortunately, Meg is our only esthetician here. So, you only get her to choose from, but she's amazing. So, there's nobody else that you need to go to in Missoula.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So why don't we talk about, there's a lot of people that are moving to Montana that don't really realize like the differences in Montana. What are they going to notice happen in their skin?
Oh, you are going to need so much more moisture and hydration than you thought you did.
Yes.
I think people don't think of Montana as a really dry place, but
it is.
Yes, we are very dry, especially compared to even just like being on the coast and places that don't really necessarily think of themselves as super humid, because maybe they don't have a lot of heat, but it's like you're going to come here and you're just going to feel like a little raisin, like,
mm-hmm.
And that can be hard for some people to adjust to, because maybe they don't like the feeling of heavy creams on their face, because back home the heavy cream felt like it sat on their face all day long.
Right.
And if you get, a little trial and error, find the one that works for you here, just because it's a heavier cream doesn't necessarily mean that it's too much for you, because you're not, a super duper dry skin type, or you didn't come to Montana with an already dry skin type.
But it's going to be dry.
Right. And then
even if you're neutral, like once you move here. Right.
Well, even, I think that's like kind of a challenging thing in Montana with like treating younger, like acne clients and it's hard anywhere.
Right.
But with an oilier skin type, like I can be definitely a greasy grease ball, and people tend to think like, oh, well, I'm oily, so I don't want to put anything on my face. But your skin is about a balance of oil and water, and when our Montana air sucks all that water out of your skin,
you're left with just oil.
Well, and your body, your body can't create that water on its own, and so its only solution is to create even more oil.
Okay.
So if you get that balance and get that hydration back in your skin, it's actually going to make your skin feel less oily, because your skin doesn't feel like it needs to work so hard to keep itself protected.
I bet you've got several different options for that too. I bet you've got like a monthly facial that you could do, and then maybe one that does a little bit more that you only have to do like every 3 months. Could you tell the people about those?
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to facials, generally speaking, that is going to be the benefit for pretty much any facial that you get, is it's going to help give you a nice hydration boost. And, of course, then I take that opportunity to talk about home care because that's what you're doing to your skin on a daily basis is so important.
Right.
But once you kind of get that baseline, then we can start talking about like more aggressive treatments if we have something specific that we're wanting to address. You know, pigmentation or acne scarring or fine lines, things like that. And then for people who have really found a good balance and they're feeling really good about their skin, just generally there are really big, like when people are asking me like, well, you know, how often should I come? Like minimally speaking, I always say like our big climate shifts. The first day that it gets really, really cold and everyone cranks on their heat,
Right.
come and get a facial. Same thing, like first day it gets really, really hot. Everyone's cranking on the AC or like moving outside and taking advantage of our short little sunny summer. Then that's another good time to come in and just get an extra little hydration boost. And
perfect. Let's see. I'm trying to go-to products.
Go-to products. SPF, of course. I feel like people, you know, of course we think about it in the summertime when we're living outside. You know, I feel like our summers are so short here that it is really common. You know, you take advantage of every moment of summer.
True, but also we're overcast a lot here in Montana.
And that's what I was going to say is that's when people make the mistake of thinking they don't need it.
Right.
Is even on those overcast days. And then another thing people, you know, if you think about like when it's summertime and you're going out and you're buying your copper tone to go out, you see on the bottle it says every 90 minutes reapply.
Right.
And people aren't thinking about that when they're choosing their SPF for their face for just their daily routine. There is a difference between a sunscreen and a sunblock. And a sunscreen is going to be something that you need to reapply every 60 to 90 minutes. It's a chemical reaction with the UV rays versus a sunblock, which means as long as it's sitting on your skin, it should be providing protection. It takes way, way longer for that
to wear
UV
off.
protection to wear off. A lot of people don't like sunblock because the ingredients that give it those qualities tend to kind of have a white cast on them. But that's why you're going to see them a lot in like tinted moisturizers or mineral makeup. So that is a great option for that. I just picked up the other day and have been really loving. Dermalogica just came out with a combination SPF 30 and vitamin C serum.
Oh.
And vitamin C is great for daytime to protect against environmental damage, including UV damage. So
they work good together.
I've really liked the way that it feels on the skin. And
is it a block or a screen? Sorry,
it was kind of an impulse buy the other day, and now that we're saying that, I'm like, I don't know off the top of my head. I just got excited when I saw the vitamin C. I want to say it's probably a screen because I don't feel like it's leaving much of a cast. But another SPF product that I love that I do wear every day is the Color Science Brush On. And you can get it in clear or tinted like a makeup, and that's super easy to carry around in your purse.
And it doesn't feel, I feel like that one doesn't feel like it has a cast, even though it does. I mean, it has a cast, but it doesn't feel.
Well, I think partially because it's a powder.
Yeah.
It's easier to kind of control. And Color Science, you know, they've been around for a long time. They put a lot of research and technology into developing and creating their products. So they've just kind of mastered that.
And those powders are nice too, because then you can just kind of reapply them pretty easily.
Yeah.
Without like ruining all of your makeup.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, that is probably. I tell people like they are like, what do you use on your skin? I'm like, well, first of all, sunscreen. I don't even go out and check my mail without my sunscreen on because that sun will age you quicker than anything.
Oh yeah.
Anything. So what is your holy grail product? Now you can, I'm talking, you don't have to just like do like any kind of a product that you put on your face. I'm talking Botox, lip filler. Like what is your favorite thing that you think does the very most for anti-aging?
I'm like a huge Botox girly.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's
You don't have to say it so quiet.
It's not something that I provide, obviously.
Right.
I'm not a nurse practitioner, but
No, but you are a skin expert, so
yes.
it's always a good.
Well, and especially, I mean, that's kind of the bummer thing about aging is so much of the damage when we start to see it is caused from time that we spent in the sun and things that we did when we were like in our teens and we weren't even thinking about that. And now
Right.
we're trying to reverse those. I started getting Botox pretty early, like in my early 30s.
I did as well. Can you explain? So, I have some friends, several of my friends that, and my mother, to be honest, my mom's 68 now, and she just got Botox for the first time last year. And she's like, well, it didn't make my skin not have wrinkles. Well, can you explain why it doesn't just work? Like you can't just go in one time and have
Right.
it like.
So what Botox, people, I think in their brains, they lump all of the injectables together, Botox, filler, all of that sort of thing. And
Right.
they are so different. So Botox is literally like a neurotoxin that they inject into the muscle to paralyze the muscle so that you don't make the expressions that create the lines. That's like I always joke with my fiance about like, this is as angry as I get. So he better be really good at reading my tone of voice. So that's why starting with like a little bit of Botox at an early age, as soon as you're starting, like for me, it was, the 11s.
Right,
I'm a very
between-
expressive
yeah.
talker and spending so much time out in the sun and you're squinting and all that. I started to notice those and I wanted to nip that in the bud. So basically, I don't have those lines because
You stopped
I
them.
stopped creating that expression really intensely. Versus, at a certain point in aging, those lines, they're permanent.
They're there.
There's no amount if I fold this piece of paper, there's nothing I'm going to do that's going to completely uncrease that. I can do a lot of stuff to help, and so that's the thing with Botox too, is like it only is capable. Like if those lines are there when you're not making the expression, then Botox isn't
gonna work.
The solution, and that would be
a mixture of Botox and maybe filler, or possibly
that's when you would start to talk about filler.
Mm-hmm.
For certain, and again, that's depending on the lines and the areas of the face, and so if you really are doing a last Hail Mary in your aging process, then it might even come down to like surgery or some more dramatic laser treatments or something. I can't speak extensively to them because I'm not in the medical environment, but yeah.
Totally not opposed to that. I'm not going to age gracefully. No, that's not for me. So I am a candidate, or not a candidate. I have just got your stretch mark removal.
Yes. Well, because you were a good candidate.
I am a good candidate, but I meant I wanted to say I want to talk about your last new thing that you've got going on, which not a candidate. I was a client.
Yes.
That's what I meant. And I was a good one because I have stretch marks from having children. You want to talk about that for a minute?
Life.
Yes.
So
I love it, by the way. I love my results.
Really?
Yeah, and I've only.
We should take a follow-up photo now and do it.
Yes. Well, yes, and then I've got an appointment with you, I think, in 2 more weeks.
Yeah. So this is technically falls under like a cosmetic tattooing treatment. So I did have to get my tattoo license to offer this. It is using a tattoo machine to deliver, rather than ink, different formulations of serums, and the importance of those serums is, most skincare products are meant to sit topically on the skin,
right?
And these are formulated to be injected into the skin. So if you create damage on the skin, like maybe some certain home microneedling treatments or things like that, and then you're putting products that aren't meant to go into those wounds that you're essentially creating, you can cause more damage than good. So these are serums that are specifically designed to go into the wounds that we are creating with the tattoo machine. And we can go over stretch marks, any sort of like surgery scar or...
Well, I was going to show... Could we do it on this one?
Yeah, we could absolutely try to treat that.
Does everybody see that? I don't know if you can.
So the
See how white it is? That's the thing. My scars get really super
Yeah.
white. So what I noticed. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
you probably couldn't hear me.
No.
Anyway, my scar is super white. But what I noticed on my stretch marks, and I started healing pretty quickly,
Yeah.
is they turned dark first.
Yes.
So they went from being really white to almost like a brown color.
Yeah.
And then they weren't as noticeable. But I'm waiting for my second treatment to see what's going to finally happen. So I won't
Right.
interrupt you anymore. Go ahead.
So there's a couple different ways that the procedure is treating scars or stretch marks, that sort of thing. Firstly, which this is like the basis of so many different like aesthetic and medical aesthetic treatments, is using like damage to stimulate your body's own healing process.
Right.
So it's the same thing with like a lot of chemical peels or laser treatments or microneedling.
Mm-hmm.
So the tattoo machine, by actually going in and like re-wounding those areas, it is forcing your body to go into that healing process of building collagen and building elastin, but it's doing it in a more controlled manner than what originally created the wound. So it can heal closer to what your natural skin texture is like. So that's a huge thing, is to go in and help repair that texture.
Not only the texture, but the pigment too.
Well, the pigment would be the next thing that we look at, and that's how we choose which formula we pick. A lot of stretch marks will kind of turn that purpley color, or people that are just naturally a little bit more melanated, maybe their scars stretch darker or heal darker rather than lighter. And so we have one formula that really just focuses on stimulating healing.
Okay.
And so in a stretch mark situation or like a lighter scar, part of what's that is going to do, when I say stimulate to bring the color back, I don't want it to make it sound like it's over stimulating melanin, almost like tanning wood or something like that.
And you don't put pigment in like ink in.
Right. What it's doing is helping restore your skin's natural melanocyte function so that it creates the normal amount of pigment that it normally would.
Okay.
Now with the brightening one, we have the opposite. It still is going to stimulate bringing that skin back to its normal healthy baseline, but there's some additional peptides in there to help break up some already existing collagen and help reduce the color. And then they just launched a new formula for scalp treatment that actually helps reactivate dormant hair follicles.
That's amazing.
So
do they use DHT in it?
No.
Okay.
No. It's a biometric peptide.
Very interesting. I'd like to look into that. Have you tried our scalp facial yet?
I have not, but I really, really want to do that, especially, I put like a lot of curl creams and hydration stuff in my curls, and
it'll also help stimulate your hair growth too.
Yeah.
It's amazing stuff. I'm going to make Jenny come in and talk about just a scalp facial. I think one of our next podcasts.
Well, I think the scalp facial, because you guys have the camera, right? That looks, so that would help. If I sent my clients into you guys first, would help determine even better whether or not they're good candidates. Because
or you could just come and use our camera and you could do it. I'll show you how to use it.
Oh, that would be great. Because as you know, like once a hair follicle is completely dead, there's like no bringing it back.
Right.
But to be able to get in there and see.
But when you see them, it's crazy. It's like 200 times.
That'd be really, because obviously that's not something
So you can tell
if
it's waxy, like if there's like a waxy buildup around the follicle, then that can be treated. Sometimes it's actually like a waxy buildup that went all the way over a hair follicle, but if you can kind of see through it and still see a hair at the end of it, it can be saved. But if it seals over, then it's done.
Yeah.
But this can really help. I think that there's a couple more things I want to ask you. I'm going to do some rapid fire questions afterwards, just because I think it's funny.
Okay.
I want to know. Actually, that one kind of covers that in my All right. I'm going to ask you one thing. How do you help your guests feel more confident in their own skin?
I try to really listen to what they are hoping to achieve with the treatments when they come in the first place.
Yep.
And be honest with them about the results that they can expect. I've never been a great salesman, I guess. Sometimes I feel like that's been a downfall maybe for my career and maybe my pocketbook, but I don't like recommending things if I don't truly believe in them and believe in them for you.
I agree.
So I think that's kind of like my double-edged sword being in this industry is I do love, the freedom to kind of take your appearance and as a result your confidence into your own hands.
Yep.
But I also hate the idea of like societal pressures and feeling worse about yourself because of them. So for me, it's really about like listening to what you want and then helping you achieve those rather than you coming in and me telling you what I think you need.
Right.
If that makes sense.
I do like that. You're more educating. You're educating them to put it in their own hands instead of just having them put it in yours.
Yeah.
I like that.
I guess like a kind of example of that would be like I am engaged to a very hairy Italian man.
Yes.
And everyone, they're just like, that must just drive you bonkers. Like, don't you just want to like wax all that back hair off and all the chest hair and all that? I'm like,
no,
it doesn't bother him, so why should it bother me?
Right.
Sort of thing. Like,
yep.
So yeah, that's what I'm really a big believer in is like, I want you to be getting services because you want to get them done and you are really excited about where it's going to take you.
I love that. And I love you. Thank you for doing this podcast with me. I will have you again.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple questions. Coffee or matcha?
Coffee.
Favorite face mask?
Dermalogical multivitamin.
Love it. What is always in your facial room?
Finapil.
Ooh, what's that?
Finapil is an antiseptic lotion
Oh.
I first brought in for treating severe ingrown hairs, and it is still primarily what I use it for. But like for me, if I get sick and I have to take like cold medicine, I always will break out from that, always right around here, and it's really great for like drying those quick random breakouts out. Somebody here in the salon caught her belly button ring on her jeans and it was getting a little infected and irritated, and the Finapil cleared that right up.
I love that.
So Finapil.
All right. Well, thanks again, Meg, for coming in, and I will have you again. And I'm just going to again read, guys. That's a wrap for today. Keep showing up, keep learning, and keep making the world a more beautiful place, one head of hair at a time or a little bit of hair removal at a time. Thanks.